What is up, everybody? This is Trevor now, and welcome back, or welcome if you're new to the channel. Today we will be discussing what appears to be main protagonist, not protagonist, antagonist to the new Spider-Man PS4 game coming out later this year, who is Martin Lee. I felt like discussing this just because I don't think he's well known to the public as a character like the Vulture, Electro, Green Goblin, Venom, all of that. And I was kind of shocked to see that he looked to be the main antagonist, but I could definitely see it in a sense. And what we're going to be talking about today is
Yuri, I'm here.
His public origins, what the public knows about where he came from, who he is, and then his true origins, which not even heroes like Spider-Man know. Alright, now we're going to go over the public one, and then we're going to go ahead and go over the true one. Alright, now what the public knows is that Martin Lee was an illegal Chinese immigrant from, I think it was the Fujian province, who tried traveling to America to be with his wife. Because in China, due to the lack of resources he had, he couldn't persuade the Communist Party there to develop his business, so he tried leaving. His mode of transportation, which was called the Golden Mountain. The only problem is, not only was it a slave ship, it was also a smuggling ship. It was run by the Snakehead gang, which was a Chinese gang that, with that ship, sold captives as overseas slaves. And Martin Lee turned into one of those captives. Now, as they are traveling to America, a storm got completely out of control. The ship's crew evacuated, and everyone that was a slave was left on board. The ship ended up crashing into the New York shores, and Martin Lee claimed to have been the only survivor and spent the next few years building a large fortune and dedicating himself to being a better person to help the, less fortunate. And in order to not be bothered by his, illegal immigrant status, he bribed the political parties at the time. Now, what he did after amassing his fortune is he established a organization called Feast, which, if you remember from the E3 Spider-Man trailer this year, they called all of those food shelters that he opened for the homeless. Now, while this is mostly true, it's not entirely true, so we're gonna back it up and go over the true origins. Martin Lee was a member of the Snakeheads gang in China, and he smuggled Chinese immigrants into the United States as a crew member of the Golden Mountain. When the ship nearly crashed into the shores, he stole the identity of the Fujian slave Martin Lee, who was heading to his wife in America. Now, after he stole this identity, he went to the Flushing, which I don't exactly know what that is. This is just what I'm getting from the information I've looked up on him, which I guess was an area his fellow snakeheads were hiding in, or operating in. But when he got there, they were all dead. And then he was captured by the Maggia, or Maggaya. I don't exactly know how to pronounce this name, but it was a crime family. He was captured by them and delivered to a chemist who was designing a new synthetic designer drug called Delight for the Magi, or Maggia. and he would test it on runaway teens and illegal immigrants. Now most of the time, it would kill whoever it was used on, but he kept performing it because it was supposed to be a cash crop for the crime family, obviously. Now, he was, one of the very few survivors, but there were other survivors. Like, let's see. The police captain, or lieutenant, that Spider-Man was talking to in the trailer, whose name escaped me. I believe she has some of the powers that they have. Okay, well, let me explain what the powers are quickly before I get into that. Now, what the drug allowed them to do is they all developed superpowers related to the Dark Force, which we saw in the trailer, at least in the guns, and then the Light Force. Now, other than the captain, who I believe has access to the Dark Force, the other two, besides Morton Lee, were people named Tyrone Johnson and Tandy Bowen, who, if you know comics, are Cloak and Dagger, who are coming up in the new Marvel TV series. Now, actually, I would find it interesting if he popped in somewhere along there in their TV series, but that's getting off track. Right. So, what these powers did, it just changed Cloak and Dagger's and the policewoman's biology to give them the powers, but it did something else to the man who stole the identity of Morton Lee. It created two personalities or identities in him. There was Morton Lee, who was a very actually kind man, and went out of his way to do kind things for anyone that needed it. Because the feast program with all the food shelters was actually, it wasn't a scam or anything, it was the real deal. But then there was the other side of him that was created. And this persona is known as Mr.Negative. The Mr.Negative side of him, much like the Kingpin, decided to become Chinatown's Kingpin of crime, and intended to just completely destroy the Magia for what they did to him. Now, the only one who knows of this true origins, of how he was a Snakehead member that stole that slave's identity, is the Hood, which I'm not getting into his origins. People who know comics or even look things up, they know who the Hood is. Basically another big crime guy in New York. But yeah, other than him, no one else knows. Not Cloak, not Dagger, not Spider-Man. Everyone thinks of them as separate entities. And yeah, that's basically who Morton Lee / Mr.Negative is. And I haven't read Spider-Man in a few years, but it's definitely interesting. I think he's actually going to round out to be a pretty nice villain, as long as they fit some well-needed villains in there. I'd like to see villains like Rhino and Shocker in there. People see me and think they're safe. Along with God, I would actually kind of like to see Carnage a little bit over Venom. Not that I love Venom, but I think Carnage would just be a little bit of a better fit, at least in terms of just because we got Tom Hardy coming in as Venom in the next couple years for the movie. Then again, we got Carnage. I don't know anymore. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, obviously leave a like. If you have anything to say or would like me to go over anything else happening in the new Spider-Man game or superhero stuff coming up, please say so down in the comments. I always enjoy reading what you guys got or just having a conversation with you. Anyways, if you do one or both of those, check out the rest of the channel, see if there was anything you like, and if you like most of it, go ahead and stick around by subscribing. Anyways, have yourselves a good day or night, and I'll see you next time. Take care.
I'm not a psychopath. I'm a high-functioning psychopath.